Hi, welcome to the Coastal Business Channel. Today we're going to discuss that 90% of your success is dependent upon this one skill. And sadly, I don't have my glasses on and I can't read my notes. So we're going to just make a little adjustment. Sorry, I have my nose back there just to make sure that I cover what I want to cover and I don't just talk about fluff during the video. So unfortunately, the current generation that are on their phone and they aren't really communicating a lot one-on-one with each other, they're missing out on this skill. And this skill really is communication. It's being able to have interpersonal skills, being able to connect with people. I will tell you the one thing that I think I've done right with my kids is we have family dinners. So not only have I read when the kids were little that family dinners help build confidence in kids and being able to talk, we don't have cell phones, whether we're at a restaurant or we're at home. I don't want to say we never have cell phones. We have used cell phones because it'll be in my pocket or my husband's pocket if we're talking about something and then we get a fact right. Sorry, we get a fact wrong or we want to fact check something, then we'll pull out our phone and pull up that fact. But otherwise, the kids do not have their phones at the table, and it's our time to talk to each other and connect. And I'm hoping, and my kids have done that with my parents, with my in-laws, aunts and uncles, that it'll enable them to develop good interpersonal skills and confidence to talk to adults and other people. During my years on Wall Street, I interviewed thousands of people, whether they were undergrad, graduates, or graduate school graduates. And I was very surprised at how super accomplished, intelligent people, when it came to having an interview, lacked the skills to have a good interview. And I would just, have to cross them off my list. How could I ever take them to a client meeting or even an internal meeting if this person cannot communicate and connect with somebody else? And unfortunately, you see that a lot. I saw that a lot. Unfortunately, some of it was because of how they were raised in their culture versus the American culture or business culture. So not looking someone in the eye. Sometimes I just thought it was late, like slouching back in a chair. There was definitely things. And so knowing how to have good interpersonal skills and being able to communicate effectively is going to help you not only in the business world, it's going to help you navigate relationships with your friends and your family, future wife, future spouse, future whatever. It also helps with problem solving, getting clients, which I do a lot of these days, public speaking, which I do not do because I'll pee in my pants. I get too nervous, but it would help me if I didn't get so nervous. I feel like in the camera, I'm able to look in the camera and talk to you and do that somewhat confidently. I think if I knew there's potentially 4 billion people behind on the other side of the camera, I wouldn't be able to do this. And negotiating salaries and raises, you need to have those communication skills. So 90% of your success depends on your interpersonal skills and mainly communication skills. But what I'm going to talk to you now are 5 tips to help you improve when you're interviewing. You need to get a job first before you can excel at a job. But the skills that you need to perform well or what you can improve upon for interviewing also really plays out within your career, because you are going to be interviewed during your career, whether you want to call it an interview or not, when you're looking for promotion or raise. So these are skills that are necessary. So one is that you cannot be overdressed in an interview or when I'm meeting with clients. For me to wear my best business attire shows respect. It doesn't matter if my client or the person interviewing is not in business clothes. You want to show that you are professional. I know things are a lot more relaxed now than when I started working 30 years ago. So maybe you do not need to wear a tie, but it doesn't hurt to have one. And you can always joke with the interviewer like, oh, I didn't realize it, and take your tie off if you're wearing a tie. I don't think it hurts to show an interviewer that you have a sense of humor or you're self-deprecating, things of that nature. If you do, let's say, want to take your tie off because you are feeling so overdressed because they're in jeans. Obviously, if you're in Silicon Valley and you're doing tech and a startup, you don't necessarily need to go in a suit and tie, but you definitely want to be better dressed than the person interviewing you. You want to show that respect. And that's what I would look at it. I would look at that you're dressing to show respect to the person that's interviewing you. Number 2 is be honest about what you can improve upon. So if I'm in an interview situation, and I was asked, what is one of the things that you feel that you can interview on? And I would say, I pride myself on being very efficient, but one of the things that I get caught up on a lot is not asking for help when I should. So I always feel that I can scan the internet and find information, and sometimes when I can't, I'll, at Morgan Stanley, I would call an 800 number, and they would give me the answer in 2 seconds. So I might have spent like 2 hours researching something. When I finally called the help desk, I would get the information in 2 minutes, and I would kick myself for having wasted that 2 hours. Time is something I can't get back. It's something that is very valuable to me to use efficiently so I can get home to my family. So when I find I do things inefficiently, it frustrates me. So that is something that I am trying to work on, is asking for help sooner than spending 2 hours doing something when I know I could probably get the answer somewhere else. Number 3 is emphasize unique problem solving skills. So that could be telling the interviewer a common problem that you have been able to solve in a unique way. Or 2 is describe a time when you failed at something, and then when you did, how did you manage to find the solution? So that's something that's going to be unique to you in the industry you're in. But they usually ask those questions, tell me a time when you failed and what did you learn? So have an answer. I will tell you that, I wouldn't lie and make something up, but kind of trying to make it into a story that's fun to listen to. If you can get your interviewer to laugh with you, not at you, they're more likely to relax and like you better. And they're going to remember feeling that it was enjoyable to interview you. And that's going to give you a leg up to someone who just has a boring, straight conversation. Because again, they're interviewing you to hire you so you work with them. So they want to work with someone that they enjoy talking to and being with. So that's important. Number 4 is always ask at least 2 questions. I will tell you, one of my questions pretty much always has been, and always is, even to this day when I interview clients, is what exactly are you looking for? I might not I don't want a job if I don't fill what they're looking for. I don't want to walk into a scenario where I'm going to get fired. Now, I don't think I've ever felt that way, but you want to see and it also gives you the opportunity. We're looking for someone who's detail oriented. Oh, great. That has been one of my strong suit skills since I was a little kid. I've been a straight A student all through high school. I scored XYZ on the SATs because I'm very meticulous when it comes to the details of problem solving and work that I do. So they've just enabled, you're asking for a question that you potentially can then come back and be like, oh, that's awesome. That's what my clients, we're looking for XYZ. Terrific. My strength is this when it comes to client relationships. In my current, with my clients now, I always, if they have financial advisors, I always ask, what do you wish your financial advisor did better? And I don't necessarily answer, oh, great, I'm so much better than the financial advisor you have. I'm going to answer, that's really helpful to know. I'm really going to make sure that, we communicate once a month. I'm so sorry that your previous financial advisor didn't talk to you, for an entire year. I have a habit of making sure I reach out to my clients 4 times a year doing XYZ. I will make note, that this is important to you, whatever it is. But, that's something that you can, ask someone if they're interviewing you. Where did the last person fail? What have you just been disappointed? If you could create your ideal candidate, what skills would that candidate have? Those are kind of very easy questions to ask. If they're working on a project, or you've heard of a project, like, oh, I heard you were working on atomic resolutions to XYZ. I don't know. I can't even think of something right now. Say, I worked on something similar when I was in grad school, or I read about that and that was very interesting. Can you tell me more about the project you're working on? I mean, if you know something from inside information or friends or colleagues, an article you read that this company or this person is working on, obviously ask them a question about that project. Let them know that you've been so interested in this job, that you've done your research. Not only did I research so I know you're working on XYZ, I want to know more about it. I am very interested in learning more about what you're doing. And again, this is to build that connection. Making someone feel good about themselves is going to get you a job. I mean, you have to have skills, you have to have the prerequisites, but it's between you and someone else that person that makes the interviewer feel good about them, and you develop that connection with someone. And again, this is something that, is lacking, right? That's 90% of the people are missing that ability to have that contact, that connection with the person that's doing the interviewing. So you do want to figure out what can you have that's a connection. And I'll tell you that I'm able to do that with my clients. It doesn't matter if we have the same background or we don't have the same background. I'm listening, I'm intent. Everybody has something that's interesting going on in their lives, or they did do something interesting in their lives. And to listen and to hear it and to acknowledge it and to appreciate it is going to make that person feel good. And that's going to give you a leg up in that process of getting a job, getting a client, getting a girlfriend or a boyfriend, or whatever it is that you're looking for, trying to get on the getting a co-op board to like you, right? Make that connection, make that person feel good. And one of the ways to do that is an engaging story. So my client tells me that they go rock climbing. I mention the story and I will share it with you. So I literally had a client tell me that was very much into, or still have a client, but very much into rock climbing and outdoor adventure. And when I did my internship at Lehman Brothers, which no longer exists, you had the option on this one outing to either hit golf balls at Chelsea Piers or do indoor rock climbing. And I had just picked up golf. I still was at the point where I'd swing and miss a lot. So I decided to do rock climbing. Now, I am scared of heights, and I know I'm scared of heights, but I'm scared of heights like at the Sears, it's not the Sears Tower anymore, the Willis Tower or the Statue of Liberty, Empire State Building. I won't go up that anymore. I used to go to Windows on the World and the Trade Center, when that existed, and I would be terrified. But I thought I'll do the rock climbing because I'm going to embarrass myself too much. And it was, at Lehman Brothers investment banking internship, it was like, I think 3 women and like 30 men. I mean, it was so skewed. So I did the rock climbing and I've got my feet about 4 feet off the ground. I'm really not that high off the ground. And I peed in my pants. I totally peed in my pants. And I was wearing khakis, which if anyone spilled water on khakis, it's totally knowable. So I went to the ladies' room and I tried to clean myself up, and I took my sweater that was on and I tied it around my waist, figuring, nobody could tell. We go have dinner, sitting next to a managing director. I'm freezing. I mean, it's summertime, but it's New York City. I'm freezing. I got goosebumps all over my skinny little arms. My hair is like sticking up. It was bad. And he's like, oh my God, like, why don't you put your sweater on? And I was sitting down, so I probably could have, but I was gonna have to stand up at some point. Anyway, I said, no, this is just, I'm actually really warm. This is just some weird reaction to the wind or whatever. Anyway, so I shared that story with a client, got him laughing. I don't mind embarrassing myself. I just embarrassed myself potentially to 4 billion people who probably aren't watching this anyway. But, I drew a connection, and I was okay to show that I'm human and I make mistakes and I have, flaws and pee in my pants. I should probably delete this out. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. But that's a way to draw a connection. It's very much to be able to connect with your audience. Thanks for watching. You guys have a nice day.